This thing doesn't look entirely safe. Hey pal, supposedly what would happen if somebody could get on top of your vehicle and flip it around? Is there a good seatbelt in that thing? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at another Python Patrol vehicle. This time we are looking at the Python Flight Pod. The original Flight Pod was released back in 1985, and it proved itself to be a popular vehicle amongst the fans. In fact, it wasn't long after the G.I. Joe's classified 6-inch scale line announced that they were doing a Trubble Bubble, as the Flight Pod is also known as. But shortly after its release, another one was done in Python Patrol colors. Namely due to the fact that the box art for the Flight Pod featured a Televiper flying it. And since the Televiper was given a Python makeover, they decided to make a Trubble Bubble have the makeover as well. The Flight Pod was often seen used frequently in the G.I. Joe cartoon, but more often than not, it was often used by Cobra's leadership to escape the area at the end of the episode. Mostly so that they could run away and live to come back in the next episode. However, I believe that flight pods are more used for short-range patrols around Cobra territory, as their light armament does not mean they're going to stand up long in a prolonged firefight, and they are extremely vulnerable to attack, especially as its engines here in the back are exposed. However, since this one has been Pythonized, it will have some stealth capabilities, so that would likely increase its survivability. The Python Flight Pod, like its original version, would be armed with a machine gun, which according to the blueprints for the original toy, this is a 1XM97 mini cannon. And then on the sides here, the Flight Pod is armed with a pair of Warlock LR 3.8 laser-seeking anti-tank missiles. And of course, I have a Televiper in the driver's seat. Of course, Larry also pointed out one of the more humorous vulnerabilities of the Flight Pod, since it does not have any restraints to hold the driver in the seat. As famously demonstrated in the opening segment of the animated film from 1987, Snake Eyes managed to get on one of the Flight Pods and flip it around. And in doing so, he managed to eject the pilot that was in it, and Snake Eyes could take over. It's an improbable scenario. So let's face it, not a lot of us have the kind of guts or balls that Snake Eyes does to pull off half the stuff he does. But it does exploit another vulnerability about it. Of course, the most common is the fact that there really isn't much in the way of protection beneath the dome on the Flight Pod to protect the driver. But then again, this is a vehicle for the enemy faction, and all their troops are always considered disposable. All in all, this did turn out great. But we do have some other options to go with it. I wish I had had time to make more of them. But we do have some other options thanks to us adult collectors and 3D printers. The fine folks over at Gridiron Studios have made some extra accessories for the Flight Pod to turn them into some powered mecha suits instead. I had seen a video done on the versions that were done for the original Flight Pod and started to adapt one for the Python Patrol. For the original Flight Pod, they sell it in a set of 3-piece set. Set 1 is featured here, which was basically a set of legs for the Flight Pod, turning it into a walker. It would still have its rocket engines on the back, so it could do some power-assisted jumps. And it would probably make it a little scarier to ground troops, since not only could it get into a better position to shoot them, a skilled pilot could kick somebody with them. Stage 2 replaces the missiles with a set of robot arms. One arm is fitted with a machine gun, and the other arm is fitted with a flamethrower. And of course, it would still have the rocket engines moved further to the back, but they would probably not be as effective due to the added weight. That's as far as they took the Python version. The regular version of it did include a third stage, which would replace the dome and give it a front shielded set of armor that almost makes it look like the snake armor. Plus, that also added just above it another machine gun turret, which then would necessitate that the vehicle has another person in it. I had intended to design a lot of the others, but unfortunately I ran into some complications. I bought the Python set, and I can't get the arms to attach to my Trubble Bubble. They keep wanting to pop off. And also, unfortunately, during the time that I was doing this, my mother passed away back at the end of March, and I wanted to have all these done in time for Joe Fest. And since I hadn't started the designs, I just didn't bother as I was working my way through my grief. Some ways I still am. One doesn't easily get over the loss of a parent. But all in all, I did try to capture the essence that Gridiron Studios did with theirs, as mine does have similar multifunctional joints, although mine has slightly more. Because the Gridiron one, it does not move at the knees at all. It has the hydraulics in there to make it look like it does, but unfortunately it does not. It only has articulation at the hip and at the foot. But I also added double knee joints, mostly to help give it some more stability. Unfortunately, the ball joint at the hip tends to cause it to droop a little at times, along with the added weight, so I'm probably better off having not designed them, but one day I may return to it. Because after I had seen the original video, and that was before the third stage had been released, I had seen them, I looked at it, and I told myself, I'm going to build that in Lego. But now I ask all of you viewers, what do you think of how the Flight Pod mecha is turning out? Of course, what do you think of the Python Flight Pod as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. At any rate, that's my look at a Python Flight Pod and Stage 1 of a Python mecha. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you love the things we show here on this channel, We would certainly appreciate some likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.